Durban, where the scene is set now. Welcome to the Village Green in Durban, where the scene is set for the South African lightweight title fight between the champion Danny Myburgh, the challenger, a replacement really for Aladdin Stevens, Mbeko Dayile. He is the challenger. Well, Myburgh, obviously the champion. He'll be keen to hang on to his belt this afternoon, scheduled for 12 rounds, of course. Let's have a quick look at the tail of the tape before we go to our ring announcer. You can see that Myburgh has 28 fights under the belts. Dayile not quite the same level of experience. 15 wins, though, in 16 contests, means that he is a dangerous opponent. They have one fighter in common, Edward Machemi. Myburgh's last fight, in fact, he stopped Machemi. Dayile, too, has beaten Edward Machemi. Our ring announcer this afternoon is Ronnie Mayer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Manny Rivero of International Boxing Promotions and Ellerines, the sponsors, proudly present the main bout of the afternoon, which is one of 12 rounds for the lightweight championship of South Africa. And it is between, in this corner, weighing in at 60.20 kilograms. He is from East London, so let's give him a real good warm Durban welcome, Mbeko Dayile. And we have in this corner, weighing in at 61.0 kilograms, he is the lightweight champion of South Africa from Johannesburg, Danny Myburgh. We'd also like to welcome to Durban our referee from Cape Town, Mr. Howard Goldberg. Give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. And the judges for this afternoon's fight are Mrs. Jackson, Mayer and Moorman. The timekeeper, Mr. Trevor Smith.
Referee Goldberg bringing the two fighters to the center of the ring. Last minute instructions. Bert Blurt with me ringside. Bert, chatting to the Myburgh camp, they knew very little about Dayile coming into the fight. So a question mark in the mind of Danny Myburgh about his opponent this afternoon.
Well, the thing that interests me most, Nick, is the fact that Dayile has won 14 of his 15 victories inside the distance. Now, I mentioned to someone, well, that must make him a banger, and they said, no, he doesn't punch that hard. Well, my goodness, he must have some sort of a punch to have scored all those victories. And here at the start of round one, you can see Dayile letting those punches go.
Myburgh very coolly, though, went into a shell in the corner and just rode those punches out. He's got an idea now just how hard Dayile hits. In fact, Myburgh hasn't fired back a punch. Does throw out a tentative left hand and then follows with it a right. Dayile bangs away to the body and then switches the attack quite effectively to the head. Those punches are getting through the guard of Danny Myburgh. Myburgh not firing back.
Well, Myburgh had better start punching and doing it very soon, because he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble. You can see Dayile going to the body in an attempt to get Myburgh to lower his guard. He's got his gloves protecting his chin. And Myburgh has been stopped 5 times in his career. Doesn't take a shot to the head too well.
Well, Dayile is surprised, I can tell you, that nothing is coming back from Myburgh. But he's not complaining. He's just banging away. Well, Myburgh's going to have to get him to show some respect. And the only way he can do that is to punch back.
Well, when Myburgh did attempt to throw a few punches, Dayile countered beautifully to the head with a right. And I guess that's the danger punch for Danny Myburgh here this afternoon.
Well, I think we've answered your question about Dayile's punching power. It's not devastating, but it's pretty strong. And certainly a combination of these punches could finish the fight here. Look,
Myburgh badly needs to pick up his punch rate. He's thrown hardly any blows here during round one. Been on the receiving end. There's a nick just above his left eye on the brow. And he's just been hit with a fairly good right over the top from Dayile.
Dayile did back away from an exchange just now, Bert, with a look of puzzlement on his face. He can't believe he's having it this easy in the first round.
Well, I don't think many others can believe it either. Myburgh very slow to start letting his punches go. And no question about it, this round, a big round for the challenger.
Well, Myburgh does come out of his shell to fire a right hand. There's a couple of punches coming in from the champion as we wind down this first round. But a surprising start to the fight by Danny Myburgh. And a good round for the challenger.
No. Okay, Inga. Safe.
Anso-ke eminye imicilizi wakhisimusi evela kwa-Ellerin ilanga usuthi ethokozelayo iVincent enezitolo eziyinkuga 156 rand 90 kuphela ngenyanga nale TV yombala e-Elevision eyesimanje ne-remote control ngo-97 rand 10 kuphela ngenyanga. U-Ellerins wenza ukhisimusi wakho ube lula.
Kulula uphila kangcono ngo-Ellerins.
Chicken peppers.
Back you come to the village green between rounds, and a surprisingly slow start to the fight by our South African champion, Danny Myburgh.
And you can see in the replay, it was pretty much a Dayile round. He threw all the punches that counted, and Myburgh on the defensive, and that'll surprise a great many people, including, I think, Dayile himself.
Would you agree with the assessment that Dayile can punch, although not devastatingly so?
Well, Clark, clearly he can, and as I mentioned earlier, he's won 14 of his 15 fights inside the distance, and we can see why. He is quite prepared to let his punches go, and it may well be that they've got an accumulative effect.
Sure, Myburgh doesn't want to take these punches throughout the fight. May not go terribly far. Danny Myburgh's last fight, of course, was that win against Edward Mahemi, and he's staggered again by Dayile. I think he was slightly off balance too. But he's taking clean shots. He's been beaten to the punch. Well, if the truth were told, he's not punching. So one cannot say that Dayile is beating him to the punch. He's just being allowed a free shot at the champion, Danny Myburgh. Myburgh now comes out of that shell once again to throw a few tentative left hands. Telling you about Myburgh's last fight, of course, his title defense against Edward Mahemi, which ended successfully, a points win for Myburgh. That was in Nasrec a couple of months ago. Myburgh fighting with that right knee heavily strapped. That goes back to around about the year 1988, an old soccer injury which is a thing of the past, but mentally I think still has an effect on Danny Myburgh. He likes to know that the support is there. And now Myburgh busy with the lefts and rights, throwing more punches now, so the work rate is picked up for Danny Myburgh.
Yes, but that nick above his left eye is opened up. You see the blood beginning to trickle, so that could become a problem for him, although he's got a good cut man in his corner in Willie Locke. Myburgh beginning to make his presence felt in this fight, and my goodness, not before time.
He had some interesting things to tell me, Bert, and it might explain why he's fighting the way he does. Before this knee injury, he liked to move around the ring a lot. Since the knee injury, he feels he has to set himself and punch. And I think what he wanted to do was just gauge what sort of power Dayile had before he set himself in front of Dayile and punched back. And certainly he's doing that now. Myburgh has come out of his shell, but Dayile is landing well, and he just landed a good right hand.
Well, Myburgh prepared to trade here in the second round. It might not be the wisest thing for him to do. He's coming off second best in most of these exchanges. But he's in a desperate situation, and he has to let his punches go.
Judging from the conversation I've had, as he lands a good uppercut. Myburgh, the champion, landing a good uppercut. Judging from the conversation I had with him, all he can do these days is stand there and trade, Bert. He doesn't like to be around the ring too much because of that knee. Better round for the champion.
Watch out the uppercuts.
izinto zingahambi kahle abasebenzi abagotho bakulesi sakhiwo bazenzela into yabo. I-lemon twist indlela yaseNingizimu Afrika yokuqeda ukoma. eJohannesburg izinga lokushisa ngu-27 degrees isikhathi se-lemon twist.
Well, the Myburgh strategy in the second round, a lot more aggressive. He was prepared to stand there and trade with Dayile. Dayile got some surprising advice from his corner. He was told not to mix it with Myburgh. One could say in the first round he mixed it very successfully with Myburgh. However, that second round he was caught with a good uppercut towards the end of the round by the South African champion.
Yes, that punch clearly shook Dayile, and I think that's the reason why his corner has advised him to take a more cautious approach, pick his punches, and you can see he's doing that here at the start of the third.
Referee this afternoon, Howard Goldberg, a small man but a very effective referee, busy referee.
Well, that was a good right hand from Dayile, and straight down the slot, throwing his punches straight, and you don't often see that from boxers from the Cape. They're inclined to swing, quite often cuff their blows, but this young man is punching straight, and that's good to see.
Disappointment in the as Dayile lands a good combination to Myburgh's head. Disappointment in the Myburgh camp that 11 Stevens wasn't able to take the ring this afternoon. A knee injury put paid to his hopes of a rematch some 3 weeks ago, I think it was, Bert.
Yes, Stevens was doing road work when he slipped and fell, injured his knee. And that upset his training routine, so that's why we have Dayile in here as a substitute. And my goodness, he's putting up a very good performance.
Here's the Cape champion.
He's a year younger than Myburgh at 27. He's had 16 fights compared to Myburgh's 28, so Myburgh quite clearly the more experienced, and Myburgh also had international experience.
Dayile landed a good right to back Myburgh into the ropes, but it also stung Myburgh into action. Again, Dayile with that long right hand, able to land clean to Danny Myburgh.
Well, we've got a more livelier Myburgh here in the third. It took him a while to get into his groove. And he seems to have got his wake-up call and beginning to match the challenge of blow for blow.
When one of the fellows was offered a trial with a top English team,
So what's up with Frank? He's got no cash.
he thought his dream
Cheers, guys.
was out of reach.
Hey, guys, we've got to do something. Maradona's boots going for $10. Come on, guys, this is for Frank. Come on, get the castle. 40. $80 sold to the goats.
Just as great friendships will always stand the test of time,
How about a beer?
so will a great beer.
Here you go, Frank. What is this? Ticket to London. You're on your way. Thank you. Charles.
Castle Lager, the taste that stood the test of time.
Round number 4.
Danny Myburgh then clawing his way back into this fight after a very slow start, but I do believe that first round he did take time off on the ropes to just test the power of Dayile. He knows that he lacks a little bit of mobility around the ring these days with that knee injury. and he has to stand and trade by and large. He just wanted to make sure that he knew what he was trading with. Knowing very little about his opponent this afternoon when he came into the ring, he's found out a great deal more, though, by round 4.
And on my card, I've got Myburgh behind on points at this stage. This fight scheduled for 12, so there's a long way to go.
The venue this afternoon is the Village Green here in Durban. It's about a stone's throw, really, from the Durban Country Club, where the South African Open golf tournament takes place in December.
Dayile's got a good left hook, and every now and then he bangs it home to the jaw of Myburgh.
Myburgh with some busy punches to the head. Dayile fires back. Myburgh getting the better of that exchange, though.
Well, there's a trickle of blood coming down the left side of Dayile's face. I suspect he's been cut above the eye. Yes, indeed.
Keep punching.
Well, the instruction from referee Goldberg there to keep punching inside, and some good work again done by the South African champion. Dayile cut to the top and the side of that left eye. Stiff exchange of jabs from the two fighters. Dayile now backs Myburgh onto the ropes. Myburgh not happy with his back to the ropes. Takes the action away from them and tries to turn it round.
Well, Myburgh has picked up his punch rate perceptibly now, my boys, and that was a very good round for him.
Mr. Ref, watch the head.
Ke tsena tse ding tsa disologadi tsa keresemese go tswa Ellerins. Kitchen set ena sere ka ditulo tse mebalabala le tafolana ya bobedi ke 56 rand 20 fela ka kgwedi. Setop sena sa kgatse sa Ele Gold sa dibena tse nne mme se hlotse ha bobebe ke 56 rand 80 fela ka kgwedi. Ellerins e o etsetsa gore keresemese e be bonolo.
Ubunolo, uphila hantle, ka Ellerines.
Dayile's camp between rounds, complaining to referee Howard Goldberg that Myburgh was guilty of using the head, and that's why Dayile is cut above the left eye.
Yeah, well, as you can see in the replay, Nick, the men do clash heads when they get to close quarters. I don't think it was intentional, though.
No, certainly nothing intentional there, but a definite clash of heads. Round 5 is turning into quite an enthralling fight. Very one-sided start to the fight, but Myburgh is gradually, I wouldn't say he's gained control, but he's certainly right back in the fight. Scheduled for 12, plenty of rounds left to come as Dayile attacks Myburgh with a long right hand and another right hand. Dayile looks good on the outside. I'd say, oh, and a stunning left hook. The spray goes from Myburgh's head. Myburgh is hurt. He's backed onto the ropes. Dayile punching well now.
Dayile looking very impressive when he gives himself a bit of leverage from punching room. Very little coming back from Myburgh in this round. Dayile trying to ward him off up with that solid, straight left jab, just measuring him.
Well, the South African champion's been caught with that Dayile left hook. It's a dangerous punch. He's got to be aware of it throughout this fight.
It's an unusual tactic, Nick, just holding out your left hand to try and keep your opponent away.
Myburgh just caught again with that left hook by Dayile. When a fighter does hold out that left hand, it's an indication he has the reach advantage. And that's why Dayile looks good on the outside. He does have a reach advantage on Danny Myburgh.
Dayele's corner have done a fine job in closing that cut on his left eye.
Let's go.
You might have heard that to referee Hart Goldberg warning the boxers to watch their heads.
Oh, there's the left hook again to the body, switch to the head. A punch that's worked well for Dayile in this round.
Dayile dumping up on that left hook beautifully. Appears to have the faster hand speed and invariably beating Myburgh to the punch.
Myburgh doing some punching, and Dayile was forced to clinch there. Referee Goldberg, though, is very clear on his instruction. The fighters punch their way out.
This is a pub used by accountants, which you can tell by the way they buy around.
The usual lofty. The usual lofty.
And they all drink the same type of beer.
Lofty!
Lager. But there are a few accountants who drink something different. A Pilsner. Hansa. Hansa is flavored with a special blend of hops to be crisper and more refreshing.
Lofty, 4 more Hansels. Oh, and one for yourself.
Hansa's refreshingly different, but of course not all accountants have figured that out.
Seconds out, round number 6.
There's some replay from that last round, and you can see a very good left hook being landed by Dayile. Trying to follow up with a left and a right, but that didn't quite land. Here we are at the start of the 6th. Referee Howard Goldberg not happy with the water in the corner of Dayile, insisting they wipe it up.
Slipping and breaking necks. Right, one.
In fact, both corners wiping the canvas. And with 5 rounds in the book, I've got Dayile 1 point ahead at this stage. Fight schedule for 12.
Quite obvious that Mbeko Dayile is a very credible opponent for Danny Myburgh. Not surprising, really. He is the Cape champion, and East London has a reputation for producing some fine lighterweight, in particular, fighters. Some say it's the boxing capital of South Africa. Oh, Myburgh lands a great uppercut, and that's staggered Dayile. Dayile hangs on. Myburgh tries to come in and land some more punches.
Well, that uppercut took the legs away from Dayile, but now Dayile fighting back to survive. This is a great opportunity for Myburgh.
Dayile visibly hurt by that uppercut from Danny Myburgh.
And again, Myburgh tries the uppercut, but not to the same effect. The challenger clearly in trouble, trying to hold on.
Well, Danny Myburgh is desperate to land another clean shot. He hasn't been able to do so.
Myburgh driving blows to the body in an attempt to get Dayile to drop those arms.
relentlessly throwing punches at Dayile. Dayile, though, is awkward, and Myburgh hasn't been able to land another clean shot.
Well, this has been a rocky round for Dayile. But he's beginning to fight back.
Fires a good right hand to the head of the champion and backs him into his own corner. And now Dayile takes over. This is a great round. Myburgh is cut above the left eye. Both fighters cut above the left eye. And what a terrific round of boxing this has been. Myburgh again looks for the uppercut. Oh, what a great round.
Nanso-ke eminye imicilizo kaKhisimusi evela kwa-Ellerin. Lebhetha umthuthi permanent headboard enokuntofontofo nesitulo ne-dressing table nezibuko ezintathu, 84 rand 60 kuphela ngenyanga. Nale base ethu okunethezeka iSlumber King Baroness ngo-65 rand 50 kuphela ngenyanga. U-Ellerin zenza uKhisimusi wakho ube lula.
Kulula uphila kangcono ngo-Ellerin.
Well, if the last 3 minutes of boxing was any indication of what we can expect in the second half of this fight, we could be in for a real classic.
Yes, it could be a real cracker, Nick. And here on the replay, you can see what was unquestionably the best round for Danny Myburgh as he drove Dayile around this ring and bang punches to head and body.
It wasn't totally one-sided, though. There was a stage midway through the round when Dayile backed Myburgh into his own corner with a series of strong right hands. And just for a second, Myburgh looked to be in trouble. But then Myburgh came back to finish the round strongly. Superb action here at the Village Green. Dayile with a stiff jab, jerking the head of the South African champion back.
And on my card, I've got the men even after 6th round.
Both fighters cut over the right eye. Sorry, the left eye.
Some good evasive work by Dayile, tucking beneath the right hand, using his left glove to pick off the left hook. The right glove to pick off the left hook, I should say. Unable to connect with blows to the head, Myburgh directing shots to the body. Good, solid body shots.
Driving Dayile back onto the ropes above us here. And then some ripping shots to the body. This is good work by the South African champion now. Seems to have gained the initiative here, certainly in round 6. And some strong work in round 7 too. Dayile has lost his mouthpiece.
Myburgh has been the aggressor for most of this round. Really pretty much on the defensive.
Dayile is dangerous as a puncher throughout the fight. In his last fight, he came up with a knockout in one of the latter rounds.
Well, it seems as though here at the halfway stage of this round, Dayile beginning to pick up his own punch rate.
Stamina and conditioning are going to play a part in this fight, quite obviously.
The body is working now. Come on. Keep punching.
The fight is being fought at a good pace.
Legs off the knees now, Danny. Stay in that boy.
They're feeling great. Basoba nje uppercut.
They move into their places. You make your bet from home or at the races. You're off. Your heart begins to pound because that's racing, the best game around. Pretty girls you can see, or you're at home with your family. The horses run on. Everyone jumps up and down because that's racing, the best game in town. The crowd is shouting for speed. You're by the radio as your horse takes the lead. Your horse has won. Your feet don't touch the ground because that's racing, the best game in town.
Seconds out, round number 8.
Well, the pace may have dropped slightly in the 7th when one compared it to that great 6th round, but it's still being fought at a very good pace and a very even matchup between these two fighters, Bert Lewin.
Yes, the danger, I think, Nick, is that Myburgh's left eye might begin to close. If you have a look at it, you'll see it's not looking that good. They were working on it between rounds, and there's still, something like 5 rounds to go. And if that eye closes, there's going to be a lot of problems for Myburgh. And I dare say Dayile is going to start working on that eye even more.
Well, Myburgh's not giving him a chance to at the moment. Myburgh doing the leading.
And there's also a trickle of blood coming from Dayile's left eye.
Dayile's cut, though, not as serious as Myburgh's.
No, it's right on the edge of the eye, so the blood is not affecting his vision in any way. With Myburgh, it appears as though the eye might close. There's quite a lot of swelling around that left eye. But it took Danny Myburgh quite a while to get into his stride, but my goodness, once he got there, he's really put the pressure on his young challenger.
Well, Myburgh's getting his own left hook to work in this round. He's tagged Dayile twice with it. Dayile fires back a right hand. Wasn't able to see clearly whether that punch landed. Didn't appear to. Myburgh's still in good shape in front of him. Pushing out that left hand, and he's just been caught with the right off the ropes by Dayile. Dayile fires in, and Myburgh's cut now over the right eye, bleeding from both eyes. Dayile senses this may be a moment for him, has him trapped in his own corner, lands a clean left hook. Myburgh bleeding badly from both eyes now, or above both eyes.
Fighting back very bravely indeed. He's not about to quit. But he's been hit with a solid right to the head. That really shook him.
Well, a spray from Danny Myburgh's head there all over us commentators here ringside. Gives you an idea of the force of that blow. It came in from Dayile. Mbeko Dayile having a strong round. Danny Myburgh is a very brave champion. It's Dayile, though, that's having the better of the round. However, Myburgh lands a combination to the head of the bell, and that's another great round of boxing. This is turning into a beautiful fight.
Well, you can hear the crowd cheering. And here's some replay from that last round. A good round for challenger Dayile. And you can see why in the replay. Slipped beneath. He got hit with a good right uppercut from Myburgh, but he's picking off a lot of those punches with his arms and his gloves.
At that stage of the round, Bert, Myburgh was not bleeding from the right eye. The cut obviously occurred later in the round, and I can't say whether it was a clash of heads or a punch. I didn't see a clash of heads, Bert.
Good punch from Myburgh. But as Nick points out, it was later in the round when Myburgh was cut. He appeared to be in a great deal of trouble. And here's Dayile on the attack. Myburgh covering up, using both gloves to protect his eyes and his jaw. And there you can see the blood coming from that cut on the right eye.
Well, Willie Lock appears to have done the job between rounds, although he could have done with 2 minutes, I can tell you, between rounds. Double the work to do now that the right eye is bleeding. Dayile opens up the round with a right hand to the champion. Mbeko Dayile, a very strong 8th round. Myburgh came back a little bit towards the bell. But you can see there's a renewed confidence in the face of Mbeko Dayile. Took a bit of a hammering in the 6th, but came back very strongly in the 8th.
Keep punching.
And what may have been a disappointment for fight fans, the fight between Stevens and Myburgh not materialising, I think has certainly brought a smile to their faces, the contest we're seeing this afternoon.
Well, it hasn't taken too long for Dayile to open that cut on Myburgh's right eye. You can see the blood beginning to trickle once again. This fight taking place at the Village Green in Durban, and a good crowd on hand to see the South African lightweight title fight. A good fight it's been too.
Seems to have got a second win. Certainly looked to be in trouble in the last round, but he's coming on quite strongly here.
Well, I might add that this has not been an easy fight to score, and on my card at the end of the 8th, I've got the men even once again.
It's a fight that has its ups and downs for both fighters. Even in the rounds themselves, Bert, it's not a case of one fighter clearly taking a round. There are ups and downs within the rounds.
Indeed. It's making it a very hard fight to score.
I'd agree with you. I'd have this fight dead even. Dayile left jabbing to the body, a punch we haven't seen in the fight. But you can see where he's looking to throw, and that's the right hand, or what he's looking to throw, the right hand of Mbeko Dayile. Well, there's the left hook. Myburgh with a strong right hand drives Dayile back to the ropes, and Dayile catches Myburgh coming off the ropes. Just to underline that point we're making, that both fighters are having their moments in the round. And that's what's turned it into such an even contest.
Win 200,000 rands worth of prizes from Iwiza and Fujifilm in the Iwiza Soccer Spectacular competition. Don't miss the final on CCV Sports Arena. First prize is an exciting trip for two to the 1994 World Cup Soccer in America, plus 5,000 rand spending money. Second prize, 10,000 rand in cash, and an amazing top-of-the-range Fuji camera with loads of other prizes as well. Names of the winners will be announced in Sowetan and on Radio Metro. Entry forms are on your packet of Iwiza #1 Super Maize Meal. Enter now!
Well, the fight, a couple of rounds to run. I think a lot of people would like to see this one go to points, because certainly the action has been very entertaining.
Seconds out.
There's a cut over Myburgh's right eye. You can see the blood quite clearly on the face of Danny Myburgh. And Willie Lock really does have his hands full between rounds. The advice coming out of the Myburgh corner was that you have a 3-rounder left. Work as hard as you like. And the same advice could be passed on to Mbeko Dayile, because this fight is very close.
Well, at the end of the 9th, I've got Myburgh 1 point ahead, and that's my unofficial scoring. The judges might see it differently, but it's a very closely contested bout.
I'm not even sure that I agree with you here, Bert. That's how close it is.
Yes, I wouldn't argue if someone had Dayile ahead on points. It's been very closely contested.
A point, perhaps. Took again, and the right that comes in, and Myburgh doesn't want to take too many of those clean shots to the head in this round. Well, the crowd doesn't like referee Goldberg's intervention there. They thought Dayile would put together some punches that had stunned Myburgh.
Well, Dayile appears to be setting himself to let his punches go, and my goodness, they are having a visible effect on Myburgh when they connect.
Well, they're good, crisp, clean shots to the head, no question. That right hand just grazed the nose of Danny Myburgh. That one didn't. And Myburgh is forced to fight back. Dayile looks to be the heavier puncher at this stage of the fight.
Oh, the blood virtually pouring down Myburgh's face now from that cut on the left eye. It's no longer a trickle, it's just streaming down his face.
Some strong punching to the head now. Again, Myburgh is forced to fight back. Myburgh's face now really is a complete and utter mess. Blood streaming down. Dayile missing with that right hand. But he's landed enough clean shots to get Danny Myburgh deeply worried in this round. The heavier punching looks to be coming in from the challenger.
Some very good shots coming from Dayile here in the 10th round. He's got Myburgh mostly on the back foot.
Well, Bert, after that big round, I've got to ask you, do you still have Danny Myburgh ahead by a point?
No, I got them even again. I know it sounds very as though we're sitting on the fence, but that's the way this fight is going. There's so little to choose between these two men. And look at Myburgh's face in the replay, an absolute mess, as Nick pointed out. But the odds are swinging this way and that. Very hard to choose between these two young men. One will be on top for a moment, and the other one takes over. And it'll be very, very interesting indeed to see how the judges score it.
And then Mbeko fainted and
Seconds out, round number 11.
Well, as we go into the 11th, it's the sort of fight where the man who digs deepest stands the best chance of coming out on top. Danny Myburgh, the champion, how much does he want to stay champion? And Mbeko Dayile, how much does he want that title?
Well, judging by the way he's starting this round, Nick, I think he wants it desperately. A warning from referee Hart Goldberg to Dayile to watch the head.
Once again, Willie Locke has done a wonderful job between rounds. And yet, it's going to take just one clean punch and the whole mess starts up again on Myburgh's face. Oh, great right hand! Dayile goes down, and he's badly hurt.
He's not going to get up.
6, 7, 8. All right. Okay. How many?
Well, he did get up, but he does not look in good shape.
The towel comes in, the fight is over. What a stunning victory for Danny Myburgh in the 11th round, and what a great, great fight. Superb performance by both fighters. But Danny Myburgh in desperate trouble in the 10th round. Landed a strong right hand, and Mbeko Dayile somehow beat the count. But superb action. We'll be back to give you the details after the ad break.
Kids tsena tse ding tsa diselohadi tsa Keresemese ho tswa Ellerings. Wall unit ya Luzerne ya 3-piece e nang le sebakadi sa di-shelf le cupboard ke R140.60 fela ka kgwedi. Bookshelf hi-fi yena ya L Sound ka twin cassette turntable le maqhubu a FM le AM ke R79.20 fela ka kgwedi. Ellerings, you wetsetsa hore Keresemese e be bonolo.
Okay, you're back at ringside.
The winner by a technical knockout in 58 seconds of the 11th round, and he is still the lightweight champion of South Africa, Myburgh.
Well, there's your winner this afternoon, and my goodness, he deserves to retain the title. He fought very, very hard indeed. This was no easy defense for Myburgh. And what a spectacular knockout. Here's the replay. A right to the head sent Dayile down, sagging into the ropes. I didn't think he was going to get up, and I don't think Myburgh thought he was going to get up, but he did. More replay from a different angle.
There's the right hand, crunching right hand. Down goes Dayile. He did beat the count, but he was in no shape really to continue. Another knockdown, and the towel came in very quickly from the Dayile corner. But Myburgh was in desperate, desperate trouble during that 10th round, bleeding badly from both eyes. And I think really a credit to boxing, this fight. Both fighters really turned it on.
Well, these are the final punches from Myburgh. The final knockdown, which sent Dayile sagging into the ropes, his head snapping backwards, and the towel came in at that point. Referee Howard Goldberg stopped the fight.
So Myburgh retains his title. It was a real war. We'll go back to the studio and we'll be back with more boxing.